tools that I've used with postmortems throughout the process and on the back end. And Chris, as a PM, you probably can relate and offer up of some things. But for me, putting it in the perspective of a SWOT analysis, and I know that that might be a little old school, but it certainly still resonates with me today. And I use it with many clients. So it's getting, I think the key is getting the key stakeholders and those outside of your immediate group to weigh in on what worked for the season. So SWOT stands for like strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. If you cannot, don't control that process. Send it out to people that lived it and get them to respond. It's important to get all these different perspectives. So I'm, putting my human resources hat on now. And I'm thinking about peak periods where we had, a national presence in fulfillment centers. And these fulfillment centers had populations of 3,000 to 5,000 plus in each center. And all of the HR strategies we put in to make peak successful. Well, when I asked for feedback and a SWOT analysis, I didn't just go with my central team that put those processes in place. I wanted to hear from the people in the field, the operators, the managers, senior level C-suite personnel that may have been impacted by the results, finance, IT, like go and ask, did we do anything that impacted your world? Positive, negative, neutral, whatever, give us feedback. And I think it's important to get that wide scope of feedback so that you can truly adjust, celebrate the wins, but also look at where are those opportunities and adjust your plan moving forward.
I agree. And I love what you said about not controlling the outcome of the SWOT too, because I know I've been in environments where if you put anything that was what I would call an opportunity, but anything that went wrong, you had to have a plan to solve it. Well, for me, I would have solved it if I could have at the time. So I like not controlling the outcome because I think you're going to get the best data that way.
So I think that to Chris's comment, I think it's very important to keep these conversations positive because I think especially as you sort of move down the hierarchy, some people are prone to beating themselves up. And I think you need to work around that and not, everything's an opportunity. If it went wrong, it's an opportunity. So you can really spin things that way and get people thinking that way. I know in a previous life, we had an electronic system that basically forced reviews at least once a quarter for everyone. And that process, although sometimes it was painful, led to some really good conversations. Sometimes with it being an automated system, you saw what we used to call button go green, where they would do and click and whatever to make that action point go green for whoever was supervising them. But for the most part, my experience with it was some really good conversations that wouldn't have happened had that system not forced me to do it.
I was just going to add to that, like consistent with the theme here, like not waiting till the end and trying to find ways to like integrate this data on a more regular basis, maybe through some automated systems like Alistair was talking about, dashboards, or just ways so that way someone's not having to put in a lot of work all the time on the way, but you can just drop data in and these reports kind of give you an update or a status update for you to discuss along the way, as opposed to waiting for the issues to be discussed later on.
Anna, I love your story about your friend that she has a ta-da file. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think it reinforces what Paige just said.
Yeah, I actually had two friends. I worked with an office manager and she kept a toot file, a toot your own horn file. And I had another nurse friend that she kept a ta-da file. So anytime somebody gave her a thank you card, she got a good note from her boss, she had an email from a patient, whatever, she would put them in this file. And then when she got ready to do her annual review, she would pull those out. Or she was just having a really bad day, she would pull them out and take a look at them to say, okay, this is one day. But I had a lot of good days too. So that was a great way of keeping all that information that you tend to forget about, especially if you're looking at an annual review and you're looking over the course of the year. So like you said, Paige, it's good to keep that as you're going. Because I know I had a few conversations with colleagues doing annual reviews. Like, what did we do in first quarter? Oh, did we really do that this year? So it's always good to get that information.
Team, one thing I would, just to piggyback, I think what Alistair mentioned earlier, I think it's important that, when we do introduce gathering this feedback, whichever way we decide to do it, just making sure that, everyone's clear that, hey, we're gathering this information, and we at the time when this project or milestone started, did the best that we could, knowing the information that we had. So just to kind of make them feel comfortable that be able to, again, gather as much information as possible. That way we can continue to do things better in the future. So I think just making sure that they're clear when we introduce this to them, that, hey, put your guards down. We're not going to use this against you or in any way, shape, or form. This is just so we can get better and we can continue to get better as a team.